The project must show exemplary initiative, creativity, and innovation to improve student learning. Hatanaka helped organize the effort to found the Public Schools of Hawaii Foundation in 1986 and believed that much can be accomplished when people work together. That's still so true today. This year's Francis M. Hatanaka Award is presented to Kathy Sewaki and Jody Menino from Hilo's De Silva Elementary School for their project Super B Video Productions, and they're escorted on stage by Trustee Guy Fujimura.
All right, thank you very much, Iris, and thank you, Kathy, our interim superintendent. And now, the time that you've been waiting for. It is now time to introduce the Public Schools of Hawaii Foundation's distinguished honorees of 2010. Now, in the reign of King Kalakaua in the 1870s, his wife, Queen Kapiolani, lived her personal motto of achievement and reminded people to strive for the highest in whatever it is that they did. Their motto, Kulia Ika Nu'u. And tonight we're going to introduce you to our honorees who have each demonstrated the true meaning of attaining a high level of achievement. President Ira Sakawa will now come back to the stage, and she will be presenting the Foundation's Kulia Ika Nu'u Awards. We are pleased to begin by recognizing this year's corporate nominee. Nate Smith is a graduate of Pleasantville Public School out in New York. Am I hearing this correctly? Another public school product. All right, at this time, we'd like to bring Nate over to say a few words.
I have to say, for much of my 4 years at Pleasantville High, I think they would have been much happier if I was never associated my name with theirs. But I stand here actually with some conflicting emotions, the heart and the mind. I wanted to come and give a sort of thoughtful, weighty message, but after Haley and Sheila and Marco, half of me says, when we're done with this, let's roll back the tables, get them back up here. Blangiardi, you pick up the bar bill, I'll cover the damages, and let's rock. But I digress. One of the things that one of my themes in business is the hardest thing for any business, and it doesn't matter if it's a school or a nonprofit or a for-profit, is staying relevant. And it's a lot tougher to do than it is to just do what you've always done. And so tonight I thought, well, let me go back to what the initial premise of the public school system as it was set up was meant to do and achieve, and see, is that initial premise still relevant, and is it achieving it? And essentially what happened at the time they were crafting the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence, it was Franklin's view that the key to America's strength was the middle class, and a growing middle class that could dominate the socioeconomic system would be far superior and outperform all of really what was essentially operating in Europe at the time. But it was Jefferson that said the key to the successful middle class was education. And he stated the problem. He said, people generally have more feeling for canals and roads than education. However, I hope we can advance them with equal pace. And he said, the object of the education bill is to avail the Commonwealth of those talents and virtues which, and this is important, which nature has sown as liberally amongst the poor as the rich. It's not a segregated distribution. and which is lost on most countries by want of means for their cultivation. And essentially, I think it was giving the countries a bit off, because essentially they were saying the canals were more important. So the result of what those two did in help with Adams and others is they provided the single most important stimulus for the rise of the middle class in America and created the strength of America, and that was the public school system. That was the one thing that truly made anybody that grew up in the U.S. could be president. The concern, I think, and it's certainly not just Hawaii, and it's being exacerbated by the downturn in the economy, but the concern is that we're turning now to where people are beginning to think that the canals and the roads are more important than the school system. And I think that we've gotten a little sort of lax and sort of saying, this is already taken care of. We've been doing it for 300 years. What do we have to worry about? And there was another thing that Jefferson said that was really quite extraordinary. He saw the importance of education throughout the country, and he wasn't so naive. He said, you know, we're never going to solve all the issues of poverty, but we can always constantly be improving. But he saw this as a key to keeping our freedoms. He said, I think by far the most important bill in our whole code is that of diffusion of knowledge amongst the people. The tax which will be paid for the purpose is not more than 1,000th part of the cost that the people will rise up against us if we leave them in ignorance. So this is all about personal freedom for everybody if we ignore this. So I say that to stay relevant, we have to re-energize all sectors. It's not just I pay my taxes or I'm going to give money at a banquet. It's the responsibility of every sector to get involved, for the businesses to use their resources, not money, but just what they do on a daily basis to get engaged, because the vitality of our nation is really based on our own personal freedoms, on whether we're successful at this core asset. And so I think that this is the cheapest and most effective way to preserve our freedom and ensure our ongoing prosperity. And all I can commit to you is that we at Oceanic, this is a deeply held principle which we will continue to try to fulfill. Thank you.
All right, now it's time for the individual awards. These honorees are graduates of our public schools, again, and have demonstrated a high level of achievement and make a significant difference for others. They excel professionally, provide leadership and service for our community, and serve as inspiring examples of for all our public school students and for our graduates. Our first distinguished honoree, Daniel Lau. He is escorted by Trustee Alvin Sakamoto. Daniel is a proud graduate of McKinley High School. Now 90 years young, he continues his full-time work at Finance Factors, which he founded with his partners more than 50 years ago. He was served as a chairman, office, or director for Finance Factors, and has been a consultant to other banks, the Filipino Community Center and the Chinese Chamber of Commerce, and was president of the Hawaiian Humane Society. Mr. Lau earned the Purple Heart and many other military honors during his service in the military, and most notably in the Battle of the Bulge. His senior softball team continues to win world championships, and he continues to coach and play his favorite sport of softball. Congratulations to Daniel Lau, our recipient of the Public Schools of Hawaii Foundation's Kulia Ikanu'u Award for 2010. All right, Mr. Lau, since this is a public school event, I have been asked to put you on the spot. Can we have that McKinley High School alma mater one more time? We're going to have Mr. Lau sing a couple of bars. Are you ready for this, Mr. Lau?
Well, I wasn't sure what was the alma mater, whether it was Hail McKinley Hill or another song. But anyway, I checked with Yan Soon Jim, who was a teacher at McKinley for 30-something years, and she told me what it was. So here I'll try. Hail